From 1st of February, PlayStation Plus subscribers can play UFC 4, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, and Planet Coaster, all for free. But are they any good? Hello, I'm Phil. You're watching UnCapt Gaming, and this is On the Plus Side, where we give our take on the free games available to PlayStation Plus subscribers. PS Plus is the subscription service for online multiplayer gameplay. Each month, as an added bonus, members get access to free games. PS4 owners get 2 free games, whilst PS5 owners get access to these through backwards compatibility, as well as a game for the PS5. If claimed during the month, the games remain available for as long as you remain a member of PS Plus. Subscribe now to stay up to date with the new releases each month and what we think of them. Planet Coaster is a management sim from Frontier Developments. Originally released for Windows in November 2016, the console edition came to PlayStation and Xbox in November 2020. As well as receiving praise upon release, it was nominated for Best British Game at the 2017 BAFTA Game Awards, and for the animation, music design, sound design, and new games IP categories at the 2017 Develop Industry Excellence Awards. The nature of management sims means that it's hard to glean too much into the overall game in just an hour of playtime, so my impressions here are going to be very rough, but I will try and cover as much as possible. There are 4 game modes: Sandbox, Challenge, Career, and Scenario Editor. In the Career mode, you have to complete various objectives within specific scenarios in order to progress. After about 40 minutes of play, I still wasn't through the tutorial, so I ended up cutting it short to try the Sandbox mode. This will be off-putting in many types of game, but for management sims this is of course the norm. The interaction between all of the tutorial characters, the affable Scottish park owner, the hard-headed cash-grabbing CFO, the theme park influencer with 900 followers on social media, and the nerdy engineer made it engaging. Already, this is a game that I could see swallowing up hundreds of hours of my time if I properly got into it. The mechanics are fairly straightforward, and for the most part there's no issue playing this with a controller rather than a mouse and keyboard as you would on a PC version. The only frustration is that it can be easy to end up on the wrong menu and not know where you need to go to get on the right one, but to be honest, this is minor. The Sandbox mode enables players to construct their own theme park on an empty plot of land. In Sandbox mode, all features and rides of the game are unlocked and the player's funds are unlimited. Again, just a short playthrough told me I could sink untold time into this. I really got invested in even something as simple as connecting the path to the rides and buildings I'd already placed, and making sure everything fit a theme, and I had to make myself stop once I hit an hour of playtime. In the Challenge mode, you start from the same premise as Sandbox mode, but have limited funds and research depending on chosen difficulty, and you're presented with challenges you can complete for rewards. Speaking personally, this tends to be the main area of management sims that I avoid, as I can find them very frustrating, but that's obviously an individual preference that will vary by player. It goes without saying that if you don't like management sims, you won't enjoy this. But if you do, then based on the first hour of gameplay, I'd say download it and play immediately.
Objectives are a bit like bosses. They tell you what you need to do, earn more money than you, and drive a sports car. No, that's not right.
Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep is a standalone re-release of the DLC of the same name for Borderlands 2. For anyone who's not played Borderlands 2, there's a handy recap of the story at the start. However, it's not particularly necessary for this game, as the characters here are playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, Bunkers and Badasses. After the opening cutscene, you design and name your character who will be making their way through Tina's fantasy tale, which is largely made up on the fly. The story makes no sense, or isn't meant to, and throughout will have you laughing at the absurdity of it all and the fun nonsense that frames the combat and exploration. If you played Borderlands 2, then the gameplay here won't take you by surprise. Just like the base game, it's a first-person looter shooter, and the D&D story framing isn't actually reflected in the mechanics. This may or may not be a missed opportunity, but the game loses nothing by sticking to its guns, so to speak, in terms of playstyle from the base game. It's fun, frantic, and completely bonkers, just like Tiny Tina herself. Based on the first hour of gameplay, I'd say download and play it immediately.
Punch him so hard he explodes!
UFC 4 is, as you might expect, a mixed martial arts fighting game from EA. It consists of a single-player career mode and online blitz battles and world championship modes where you can compete against other players. As you start, you're thrust straight into the career mode, with your coach preparing for an interview at the height of your success and recalling the very first time he saw you fight in order to kick off the story. You can customize and name your character, and after a basic tutorial session in the gym, you go for your first proper fight. The game's visuals are a mixed bag. Overall, it looks good, but there are certainly moments where the graphics appear a bit dated or janky. That's only a minor complaint though, and the game works well to create an atmosphere that feels like you're actually entering the world of MMA fighting. In terms of the game's mechanics, it's here where the game will either win you over or lose you. I definitely fell into the latter camp, though I say that as somebody who hasn't seriously played a fighting game since Tekken 3. The game's systems didn't really click with me, making even the intro fight feel like a particularly heavy slog that utterly sapped any confidence I had that this would be a fun experience. It felt like my stamina sapped too quickly, my reach was always just short of what I needed it to be, and the frustration level was high. This might just be me being a bit rubbish at the game, but then I am a total beginner when it comes to UFC, and on that basis it just doesn't feel very accessible for newcomers at all. It feels like the game's mechanics will be satisfying when you get to grips with them, but equally that doing so requires a commitment that means there's no such thing as a casual playthrough in this game. Based on the first hour of gameplay, I'd say add it to your backlog, if you're willing to commit to getting good.
This isn't one of those stories where you find someone amazing out in the middle of nowhere just knocking people out. No.
This month's PS Plus lineup is another strong one. Let us know if you played through any of this month's PS Plus games and what you thought of them. Have you sank hours into Planet Coaster and wondered where the time went? Did you have fun with Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep? Did you get to grips with UFC 4 better than I did? Tell us in the comments. Cheers for watching, and see you next time.